On special request, I've been asked to make information available on how I make my row counters for knitting. Well, you can actually use them for crochet as well. Anyway, this is what they look like. They have numbers from 1 down to 10, which is the 0. And when you're knitting, you just put the 1 on, and then you continue down. And when you reach the 10, and you're going on the 11th, you put your clip on 1, meaning that's 11, and then you go on 12, 13, etc., etc. So that's that. What you need to make these are jump rings. These particular ones are smaller than the ones I've used previously. They're great for knitting socks, but the ones that I made came in from Michael's, a variety, and I thought they were small, but they're actually like a medium, but they work for the socks. So the smaller the jump ring, it'll fit the smaller needle. So that's one. Then you'll need head pins, and I purchased these from Michael's. They were a variety of lengths, but I would try and purchase ones that have bigger head. Let me show you. Bigger heads at the beginning. These, what I'm talking about, are, oh, I've got the wrong side. Here we go. These here. Because they don't, when you're making them, they become bigger, so they're it's not a big deal, but they're a little lopsided, but I like things to be even. And the next thing you'll need are a pair of cutters and 2 pair of needle nose pliers and round circular pliers. You can also purchase loop makers, which I did. Mine doesn't work, which sucks. Anyway, oh, and you need to make a marker, or just use any stitch marker that you have. I made this one here, and again I used the pins to make the loops. So here we go. This isn't going to be very easy, but these are how many that you need. You need from 1 to 0, and then you'll need 11 jump rings. Okay, so what you do is you take your head pin, and I don't have my numbers out. Hold on. So you take your number, here it is here, and you insert your pin into the number. I'm going to do this off camera because I can't see. Like so. And you see you have one already done here. So this is actually way too long. So this is a guesstimate. So I'm going to guess probably about that much is all I need. So you take your pliers, your cutters, and you snip it off. I can't see. Don't laugh at me, Liz. Here we go. And watch, because when you cut it, it can go right into your skin, so be careful. Been there, done that. There we go. So now you're left with this size. So depending on which way, the number should be this way, because when you're going down, it's easier to read. And you take your needle nose pliers and you bend it, and they say to bend it a 90 degree. Sometimes I do it before, sometimes I do it after. It's up to the individual. So you take it as close and you give it a little bend. There we go. And then I guess probably about that much is all I need. So you take your pliers, your cutters, and you snip it off. I can't see. Don't laugh at me, Liz. Here we go. And watch, because when you cut it, it can go right into your skin, so be careful. Been there, done that. There we go. So now you're left with this size. So depending on which the numbers should be this way, because when you're going down, easier to read. And you take your needle nose pliers and you bend it, and they say to bend it a 90 degree. Sometimes I do it before, sometimes I do it after. It's up to the individual. So you take it as close and you give it a little bend. There we go. And then you take your round nose pliers, and depending on the barrel, what size you want. If you go smaller, sometimes it's hard to get the jump rings in, so it's better to go a little bigger, but then it won't match this one up here. Okay. So then you grab the end and you bring it right around, and you see you've got to kind of play with it, and the best way to do that is with your needle nose. So bring it back. Oops, sorry. And try to make it touch the other wire. And if it doesn't, you just bring it up again. Take your circular again and give it a little tug. Flatten it out. That looks pretty close to me, but I can probably give it another little squirt, because if you don't tighten them enough, your thread or your wool yarn will catch on it. So a brilliant friend suggested to me, and I've done it and it has worked, is to use, well, she said glue, but I didn't have glue, so I just used nail polish, but it's just clear nail polish, and it's the one that used the machine here. So I dab a little on, put it in the machine, light it up, and it seems to have helped a lot. So, but you can run into different issues, and you just have to deal with it at the time. That's all I'm going to say. So that's how you make that. And then you get the different size jump rings, and they have a slit in them. And when you're working with them, usually when you're bending it back, you hear a little click, and that tells you that it's smooth and it won't catch on anything. But for some reason with these are 8 millimeters, they don't click right, so you got to really fuss with them. But anyways, so you open the ring. You need your two pliers for that. Ouch. Be careful, this could be dangerous. And you open it up. You grab your, well, this, just pretend this is your number 1, and you slide it on. But this is after you've baked it, okay? I didn't bake mine, I just mentioned it. And then you close the ring up by twisting. And if you feel a little, if it's not smooth, keep playing with it. No, that's even worse. And then you just continue doing that for all of them. If this was number 1, it would be like this, and then you'd put 2, 3, so on and so forth. So that's it.